want to talk about this discourse because a lot of people seem to be like up in arms over this discourse, and I'm going to address it, okay? I'm going to address the religion discourse. So a lot of so-called communists, and I say communists lightly because what we're really talking about are fascist Nazi Hitlerites, are now saying that, listen, it's basic Marxist-Leninist orthodoxy that communism is atheistic. So we're atheists, communism is supposed to be atheistic, and then this is just a soy jack, so they're wrong. There's two angles to this, right? And this is not a black and white issue. Usually, sometimes it's a black and white issue. When the Maoists, for example, try to say that communism is pro-gay and LGBT, it's black and white, just wrong. But when people say, listen, communism is atheistic, there's a lot of truth to that. So it needs to be addressed. And that's what I'm going to do right now, okay? So here's the first thing I'll say. I think atheism within the context of the 20th century, let's begin there, is qualitatively different than what we call new atheism, which belongs to the 21st century. First of all, the atheism of the 20th century or the 19th century had the responsibility of addressing the need for some meaningful object of belief, okay? And that was communism. For a long time in the 19th century, atheism was associated with socialism and communism for a reason. Because the socialists and communists were saying, hey, the answer isn't in the afterlife and in heaven. The answer is focusing on our problems here on earth. And that was considered to be atheistic in nature and in orientation. So there's a historical context that's really missing from this discussion about the relationship between religion and communism. Atheism simply did not have the same connotation it did back then, okay? Most of society, most of culture was not only religious, and actually this is the real discussion I want to get to, okay? Most of society, for most of the 19th and 20th century, let's say the first half of the 20th century at least, was unconsciously, it had a biblical unconscious or a Quranic unconscious, whatever you want to call it, but religion was very much embedded in the common sense of the people. So when communists rejected religion and asserted that they were atheists, there was a very specific aspect about religion that was being rejected. The whole texture of religious norms, the religious unconscious, the hard texture of religious values and mores that come from that Bible or the Quran or whatever you want to use as an example, communists had always taken that for granted. And that's because communist atheism was not nihilistic. It was still based in the view that there is absolute meaning, absolute meaning. And religion was rejected only to the extent that it was situated within that world of meaning. The idea of the communists, which, by the way, I want to let you guys know something, because there's two sides to the story. The communist view wasn't terribly off the mark. Was basically that the church is a tool of the ruling class, and it's like you got the whole powers that be oppressing the working man. The state, the police, the capitalist, the church, the institution, all of them together with their fucking batons keeping the working man down. And you know what? Wasn't far off from the mark in terms of how these things actually functioned within the context of 19th century and early 20th century Europe. It was not terribly far off the mark, okay? So that was the communist view. The more fundamental kernel of religiosity and religious belief wasn't really addressed all that much by communists, okay? If you're not paying attention to this right now, I'm gonna fucking ban the shit out of you, bitch. This is literally golden stuff, and really important, by the way, for fighting the info war, because so many people are religious and their first objection to communism is, oh, well, it's not religious. So get your fucking finger out of your ass and pay attention. Now, let me put it this way. The problem with 21st century atheism is that it does not take a terribly great amount of effort in order to be an atheist in the 21st century. if you just grow up and are a total conformist to our capitalist society, complete conformist to our capitalistic society, Reddit, you're buying everything the fake news is saying, all that kind of stuff, atheism will come naturally to you. Like, that's what's the default. New atheism is already the default. So if what Karl Marx said, well, Karl Marx didn't mean it in this way, but most people interpret from Marxism the idea it's the opium of the masses. Religion is this mainstream ideology used to stupefy and distract the masses, right? We need to soberly confront the fact that this is objectively not true. Listen, when Marx was dealing with the issue of religion, there was so much intellect and seriousness being poured in it. But this casual nihilism, and that's what it is, it's nihilism. It's not that you're an atheist, it's that you believe in nothing. You believe in your fucking Funko Pops and fucking Reddit and doing drugs and dope and being a passive fucking consumer, and you dare associate that with communistic atheism. I am not denying communists in the 20th century are atheists, but they are not you. You are a fucking nihilist. Those communists did not erase the bedrock of Christian or Muslim religiosity that is unconscious. They were within a world of meaning. They had a cause to fucking die for, a belief in absolute justice, a belief in absolute good, absolute evil, truth, and falsehood. That was what they believed in. You are just a fucking chicken shit Philistine is what you are. You're a Philistine who has no sense of the beauty of mankind, no sense of the things that actually fucking matter in life, no sense of meaning, nothing you believe, nothing you have in your head is latent with meaning. You're a fucking complete NPC molded by institutions. You understand? The alliance that you're seeing in concrete, practical terms, that's in reality, between communists and religious institutions, even like the Orthodox Church in Russia, is a result of a historical development, which is basically that on the one side, you have the old religious institutions, which used to, yes, now tow before the worldly powers of capitalism, but the consolidation of the victory of the bourgeoisie, the imperialist bourgeoisie, has been so severe that basically, on the one hand, you have this passive, hedonistic, nihilistic subject devoid of any belief in justice or meaning at all. And on the other hand, you have the communists hand in hand with the religious. That alliance between communism and religion was not born out of some theoretical innovation. Here's the difference, right? The alliance between communists in the West and the LGBT is purely a result of something happening in ruling class institutions. But the alliance between communists and religion that's happening around the world was something born out of material practice, changes in the development of material reality, where religious people find themselves on the side of defending human civilization, defending a bedrock of human values that cannot be commodified or bought and sold, defending the view that there is absolute meaning amidst this completely consumeristic society, right? And then communists are on the same side, right? So what we need is a profound examination, re-examination, and re-evaluation of the historical relationship between communism and religion, because objectively speaking, religion does not fulfill the function that it did in the 19th and 20th century as described by Marxists. Politically, it's not aligned in the same ways, and so on and so forth. This is just satanic nihilism, and this is complete fucking nihilism. This is a fucking coward and a scumbag. Yeah, it's easy to be a fucking edgy atheist or whatever, because you don't have any fucking skin in the game. There's nothing you actually believe in so much that you'd fucking die for it. You don't have any belief in your fucking heart. You have no skin in the game. You're just a fucking nihilist. Sitting there, oh, I don't care. I'm just gonna fucking watch porn and drink. Because you're a fucking nihilist. You have no skin in the game. You're a spiritual pygmy. You're a fucking coward. You don't stake your heart in any cause that actually commands belief, commands some kind of commitment. You don't imperil your fucking belief in anything because the institutions of ruling society take care of all of it for you. All you have to do is turn on the fucking news and believe whatever dumb shit the guy on TV is saying for you to fulfill your life as a human being. You are never confronted at the precipice of your extinction and death with the question of how to derive meaning out of nothing. You're a fucking coward who hides behind scientific experts and all these people delegated into positions of authority in order to fulfill the human need to actually participate in a world of language and communication and meaning. That's why you're a fucking satanic scumbag. That's why you're an evil fucking person who has no morals, no beliefs, and no fucking values. Because I press you, if you are confronted with a situation that demands just behavior, you don't care. You're a fucking nihilist. What do you fucking care? Right? So that's what it is. This is why these people are such scumbags, by the way. Because they don't fucking believe in anything. Literally, they don't believe in anything at all. They're literally just worms. They live as worms with no belief. I'm not trying to say communist history was pro-religious. I'm not. But it was taking for granted things that came from religion. And if you ask the communist leaders to look at America or the West today with its casual nihilistic atheism, they would be fucking disgusted. They would be like, listen, we critique religion. We weren't talking about all that, though. We weren't talking about all that, though. We were just talking about how it distracts people from the real, immediate, pressing concerns of humanity. But we didn't mean it in the sense of Funko Pops and Reddit. We didn't mean it in the sense of this disgusting, groveling Philistinism where you just trust everything the fucking experts are saying and treat them as the word of God, right? And all I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to erase history, but what I'm trying to say is we communists and Marxists should be a little bit more humble and rethink our understanding of religion. We should really rethink all that. We should rethink our understanding of religion and its relationship to communism. Thank you so much, Dale Cooper.
Jesus' harshest critiques were to the religious leaders,
Yep.
the lawyers,
Yep.
the scribes, the Pharisees,
Yep.
and the priests. He destroyed their idealism, while Jesus' only objective was forgiveness of debts.
That's what every prophet in history, by the way, Jesus is especially true. He is, after all, one of the, if not most important prophets in Islam. But no, you're absolutely right. And in Christianity, obviously, it's all of Christianity is about Jesus. So you're right. That's why people it wasn't hard for people like Frederick Engels to be like, you know what? I'm studying the history of early Christianity, and holy shit, it's just like what we're doing now. They were the communists. By the way, you know what? You know the Romans used to call the early Christians atheists? Because the early Christians rejected the gay Roman paganism. Fuck paganism, by the way. Fuck every form of paganism, by the way. But the early Christians rejected the whole pantheon, and they just believed in God. And so the Romans called them atheists. Ain't that funny? It's the same thing was true for Judaism and also Islam. So why I am saying there should be a re-examination is because it is my belief that communism, beginning with Karl Marx, was a revival of the Abrahamic tradition. It was a reconstitution. It was placing Abrahamic faith on a new basis. Not to liquidate and destroy it in exchange for the nihilism we have now, but to really, and this is what Marx literally said, by the way, get at the kernel of authentic religiosity and somehow redeem that and bring it forward in a new way. Because even if you are an atheist, Marxist, and you don't want to entertain any religion, if you're a Marxist, you have to agree about what Marx said, that these religious traditions carry within them, this is the very essence of humanity, just estranged from itself. But you cannot understand the essence of humanity without a deep respect and profound knowledge and understanding of religious belief. This is literally the most fun, this is our essence. This is the most fundamental reflection, articulation, and grounding of our being. So when you say you're an atheist, I don't really believe in God or an afterlife, that's not what Marx was saying. Marx was saying, for example, he rejected the term atheism altogether, by the way. But what Marxists were saying when they said they were atheists was basically that they were saying, we are committed to building, to building a just world. We are committing ourselves to building a just world and not going and praying all day. That's what it meant for them. Atheism for them still carried with it a certain level of responsibility toward an absolute threshold of meaning. It wasn't just, oh, I'm an atheist now, I'm just going to fucking jack off and eat potato chips. That's not what it meant. Everyone knows that atheist communists were far more fanatical in their devotion and belief than religious were. It's the communists who were the fanatics. I mean, like, Islamic fundamentalism is the only thing that surpassed the fanaticism of communists. But I'm going to tell you guys the truth, and this is going to fucking offend a lot of your sensibilities, but here's the truth. A lot of the time, back in the day, let's say the early 20th century, it was the religious guy who would go to church, pray, and then he'd go fuck hookers and snort cocaine afterwards. And it's like, oh, it's not that deep, man. Come on, not that deep, right? But the truth is, it was the communists who were like, when they got so extreme, they were just like, sex itself is bourgeois. We're going to have fucking Volcel communism. We're going to be so fucking disciplined that I'm never going to eat any bananas ever. No fruit, no apples, no sweets, only fucking complete ascetic discipline. Forego all worldly pleasures for the idea of communism. Like, that level of devotion. Hunger strike. Stalin owned like 2 things. He slept. He didn't even sleep on a bed. He slept on a fucking, what is it called? I think it's called a cot. It was like a cot. Yeah, a cot. That's what Stalin would sleep on. He was a total ascetic. This is what, by the way, Dugin talked about too. The reason I talk about Gucci communism, it's only to the extent that I've compromised with religion, because it's religion that says, hey, live a little, you can consume, you can just see. This is totally fucking wrong, by the way. It's such a stupid understanding. You get it all wrong. It's religion that allows you to live a little. It's religion that says, yeah, go on a yacht, have some big booty bitches. That's religion. It's hardcore communism that says every fucking aspect of your life needs to be regulated in such a way that aligns with the absolute cause, the absolute threshold of meaning. You want to know why? Because religion, this is why any semblance of hedonistic freedom corresponds to religion, and I'll explain why. Because religion says that our absolute threshold of meaning will exist without us. God is there objectively. He will always be there. He's eternal and he's infinite, and nothing we do will affect that, right? Whereas if you're an atheist communist, you do have an object of absolute meaning, but that object is your own deeds and your own works. That object is, let's say, the future society you want to realize on earth, the kingdom of heaven on earth, or some absolute immediate justice here and now, right? So communists can never relax and rest. Always they need to prove their belief and fanaticism and loyalty for the cause, because the cause will not exist without them. The object of their belief will not reproduce itself without their devotion to it, without their belief in it. Like, put it this way, for communists, the thing they believe in will not exist without their belief. But if you're religious, God exists whether you believe in him or not, right? So it's actually religion that allows you to have this attitude of, I don't really care, I'm not really that invested, and because you don't need to be, because you are assigning responsibility for your being to something that doesn't involve you. But so how does that explain the phenomena, the unprecedented phenomena of 21st century Funko Pop atheism? How do we explain that? Well, I'll tell you how to explain it. It's actually pretty simple. They have not stopped believing in a God. And you're going to lose me here, but I'll explain it. These hedonists and nihilists, what they believe in is, you're going to lose me, literally Satan. Literally fucking Satan. Satan in the form of the pagan Mother Gaia goddess. Nature. Satan in the form of nature. Nature. Some nature worship. Darwinian evolution, ecology, whatever. That's what they've replaced and overthrown God with. This guy, the reason he doesn't assume full responsibility for his belief in the absence of a God is because he hasn't gotten rid of a God. He's replaced God with a goddess. That goddess is not one that commands partisan fidelity and loyalty. It's a goddess which affirms permissively every corruption and filth here on earth. The pagan Mother Gaia goddess. Every form of hedonism, pot, dope smoking, drugs, whatever, constant orgies, whatever, the Mother Gaia goddess smilingly nods her head and approves. This is all part of nature. So what do these fucking dipshit Redditors do when they go to a music festival and do DMT? Oh, we're all part of the Mother Gaia God. We're all is what? It's all that fucking jibber jabber spiritualism, pagan bullshit. And that is literally what they believe. Like, you know the movie Avatar and Avatar 2? Like, they literally believe that shit. Now, they might not admit it, but they do fucking fundamentally believe it. You put a gun to their head, like, okay, the trees will save me. They believe in fucking nature. Nature is their God. Nature is their God. This Mother Gaia, which is a form Satan takes, by the way, the whore of Babylon. Satan often takes the form of a woman in the minds of men. So this is what it is. All of their See, look, can I tell you guys something? I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm not going to elaborate on it. I have hunted down the most vicious, disgusting, evil fucking people on the internet. And I've looked for their motivations. And I've hunted them. I've infiltrated their circles, everything. Okay? These people are not atheists. They fucking believe in really dark things. Like, they're like fucking really, you're not gonna believe me, really pagans. They're really fucking pagans. Like, that level of evil, it goes beyond atheism. It's like they really believe in and try to master and harness that Mother Gaia occult pagan shit. It's a fucking really real fucking thing. And you take my fucking word for that, by the way. Take my fucking word for that. It's a real fucking thing. Nobody's just some... Like, when you're a dumb NPC, you might be, oh, I'm an atheist. I just believe in science. But when you are someone who's trying to do a lot of evil intentionally and inflict harm on human beings in a really severe way, those people, they very consciously aware of the fucking demons that they're worshiping and shit. Really consciously aware of the fucking demons they worship and shit. It's like really scary too. They're actual fucking pagans when it comes down to it. Like they are actually fully fledged, like actual fucking pagans. And it's crazy because we always joke about Moloch and listen, it's not hard to be a fucking Moloch worshiper. It's not hard, because I'm going to tell you why. All of these deities these people fucking worship, that whole pantheon from the Greeks and the Romans, that same pantheon is there with the Aztecs. You know that? With others. It's also there in some African, whatever, pagan religions. It's there in the Arabian pagan religions. It's there in the European pagan religions that Varginus worships. And it's patterns, right? And in the monotheistic tradition, we have words for angels and demons. And these people worship fucking demons. They worship these fucking demons. Okay? They really, really worship these fucking demons. Very consciously. Becoming a Moloch worshiper is not hard. Moloch is interchangeable with a whole hell of a lot of other demons too. You're like, oh, Haas, how can you be opposed to pagan religions? Aren't they traditional? And I say, they're traditionally fucking satanic. Yeah, they are. Unapologetically, I'm gonna fucking say paganism needs to be burned out of the fucking face of the earth. Fucking demon worship. Because it's nihilism. You have to believe in one thing when all is said and done. And when you tell me that one thing is a feminine mother goddess, I'm sorry. That shit needs to be burned the fuck down. When God is feminine, when they try to make God feminine, the goddess, the mother goddess, they're making God into an enabler. They're making God into an enabler. An enabler of all of the corruption and evil that exists on earth. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That is a God, that's what you call a God devoid of justice. Only a God can be just. A mother Gaia goddess is not just. There's no justice. It's just balance. It's a complete destruction of humanity.